we can always look at the history to learn lessons, if we're willing to learn lessons. And say leaders are presented to us, and we've watched the ones who are elected do this as well, flying into what seem to be bouts of rage. The leaders that are supplied to fight the New World Order, if they were genuine, wouldn't fly into rages, because there's a difference in effect between impassioned speech and bouts of rage. Rage manifests the very fear in the listener that they perceive and sense coming from their oppressors. And it's like being an officer. When an officer loses control, then those who follow are psychologically defeated right there and then.
And now is the time for people to keep their heads, because we've been given our heroes to follow in certain alternate medias who will get the ball rolling to get the fighting started amongst each other at the right time. And I'm sure for donkey's years now they'll be preparing, we've seen them be preparing for internal strife within America, the U.S. They've been building up internal armies for years and years and years for the day when the public will be encouraged to do something about it, what's happening. So don't fall for the rhetoric. Don't follow the individuals that are put up there, and pay very well to be your leaders, the official opposition. I've said for years, people should demand to know what else anyone who takes a paycheck from the taxpayer, what else they've taken to what societies. It should be on public record for everybody to see and published. All you have to do is vote in this so-called democratic system. Once you vote, that's it. You have no more rights. You just voted someone in without finding out all about them, because you heard all you wanted to hear. I am this, I am a conservative, I'm Republican, I'm left-wing, I'm right-wing, I'm this, I'm that. And you never asked the most important thing of all. To what societies do you belong, and what oaths have you taken? So you give all this power to people who then you elect into office because they're left, right-wing, or whatever, and they put laws over on you, and you're all standing back saying, why would they do that? It's because you didn't ask them what he belonged to. You didn't demand to know. Didn't demand to know. And it's the same in every country.
Albert Pike, the Pope of Freemasonry, in the 1800s said, we always give the public their heroes. They give the heroes to every faction, every side. And then people, once they hear this person saying all the right things, will give their allegiance to that person because he or she speaks for me. That's how we rationalize it. And we sit back and we guide it again. They say, go here, go do this, do that. We do it, you see. We give our power to the authorized heroes. Hi folks, Alan Ward back, cutting through the matrix. And we have an odd one on the phone here. It's called Hippopotamus Anonymous, who's called in. Are you there, Hippo?
Yes, hi Alan, how are you?
Not so bad.
That's good. I heard you were a little under the weather. I listened to your blurb.
I opened the window and influenza.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't get taxed on it up there, I hope.
No.
Okay. Hey, Alan, I tell you, the 31st, I was really looking forward to hearing you, and I guess since you were sick, that's why I didn't. But I only started listening to you very recently, and I tell you, you've been one hell of an inspiration to me as a writer.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you, and I want to thank you for your integrity and your honesty. And I tell you, I'm really I'm getting in my 40s now, and I'm really tired of being tricked by the magicians that are running things. You know, these magical people. Mm-hmm. And but I have a proposition out here for the. And I wrote you a letter actually. Maybe what I'll do is just email it to you. But I've become very suspicious of this deified Ron Paul character, and I know a few people have called in. I've heard a few people mention this, but it almost seems heretical to say it on the Patriotic Network. But there's a tape out there that the Patriots should look at, and it's a 1988 episode of the Morton Downey Jr. show. I don't know if you remember him. Do you remember Morton Downey Jr.?
No.
Okay, he was a precursor to the Jerry Springers and the Slaughter Riveras. And they can find Ron Paul in the crude, real flesh, yelling and yucking it up and sliming around. And it's very interesting. In the audience, there's our friend Bo Greitz. Mm-hmm. And it's a very interesting tape. It's on YouTube. I know you don't go to YouTube very often. Mm-hmm. But
I know Bo Greitz was in the audience, you said?
Bo Greitz was in the audience. It was very interesting. He was there ostensibly to discredit the doctor. Mm-hmm. But what happened was, it was interesting, Ron Paul yells over to Bo Greitz and addresses him by name and says, and calls George A. Herbert Walker Bush a drug dealer, and says, "Isn't that right, Bo Greitz?" Because that was his claim to fame back in the day.
Yeah.
And then what happens is he gets up to the podium and he starts, it was called the loudmouth actually, and it was just nothing but hysterical yelling mostly.
Yeah, sort of a Saturday Night Live type, yeah.
Oh, worse, far worse. I mean, and so if he really thought at that time behaving that way, there's this one segment where he's absolutely degrading a young man because he was overweight. This is Ron Paul.
Yeah.
Candidate for president of the United States, the patriot that's going to eliminate the CIA, the IRS, and the Federal Reserve, and all that stuff.
The thing is, though, you see, I've been telling people forever that politics is showbiz.
Right.
It's pure showbiz.
Right.
And politicians are put out there, and I always tell the people, whatever your bent of mind is, your frame of mind, I guarantee you they've got someone out there for you to follow.
Sure.
Because they do surveys on the public, and they always give you a middleman who says all the right things which are current at the time.
Sure, of course they do.
They've got their pulse on the people. And we know that, you see, this is not real. Even the governments we have are not really real. They deal with small local issues, but they're not allowed to deal with the big ones at the top. Because there is a parallel government, as Quigley said, and Margaret Thatcher said, and others have said, and every ex-president and prime minister belongs to this parallel government. And it's been here since the beginning of the 1900s, according to Quigley. It was already 60 years old when he wrote his book, and he said it'd been running then. That's how they have this international setup all up and running. That's beyond national politics. It's international. And if the only public could only realize this, that to stop following the people they give us to vote for, the real people would have to come forward and show who they are for the first time.
Exactly, and it's interesting because, now we have a consortium of mysterious fellows, people that own these free voting machine companies, and they've literally absconded with the electoral system, and they actually manage it directly. They oversee it. So even if Ron Paul were elected, how could he prove that he didn't himself or people on his side rig the election? So the whole thing is suspect. So my proposal is this, and I'm calling out for the musicians and poets and artists to really maybe lead this. And I say let's declare abstinence, and for 3 days, whenever these machines and this technology is used, is to just shut down the economy and have a nationwide strike. And
that'd be wonderful. I mean, if it strikes for all the things that matter, you'd see a very smoothly functioning society.